We are live for International Women's Day, and I'm taking this opportunity to sign in from the hills of the northeast of India. We're signing in from Meghalaya, Shillong, the capital, and this is a very special evening dedicated to the women and the ladies behind the scenes and ahead of our classrooms and our engagements in our communities as we build the Northeast's leading life coaching enterprise that works to build confidence, aspiration, and the hopes and dreams of young tribal boys and girls in our part of the world. My name is Mark Lightflungstone. I'm the founder and CEO of an organization that we call Avenues. Welcome to our celebration of International Women's Day. Choose to challenge. And with me this evening, I'm very happy to announce that we have some incredible women who have some beautiful stories, who faced incredible hurdles and challenges in life, and who are choosing to now engage with the wider community through this live and hopefully come to terms and come to grips with the reality of what it's like to be a working woman in our part of the world, what it's like to be a working woman in any town or emerging urban populace in our country, and how we forge ahead despite the challenges to take on the roles that we have been awarded and the privilege that we have received in our lives. So, for all the women out there, from us to you with a lot of love, there's a heart here as well. Happy Women's Day. This is for all of you. And I hope that through this evening's deliberations and I guess interesting conversations, that we get to learn a little bit more about how women cope with change and how we can learn from the lessons of the women on our team as they head into the world and create that spark of light in our students' eyes. Welcome to an evening with Avenues. Welcome to Keeping It Real. We've taken a hiatus after our incredible first season, and we're live again for the first time since the pandemic hit us. It's been about 3 months. We're now recovering from that, and this is now episode 11, and season 2 is upon us. Welcome to Keeping It Real with Mark. This is a very special evening, and I'd like to welcome our women online. We have Iba Sara Kharkungor, who's producing this in our media room. Iba, thank you for doing this today. Over to you, Iba. Let's roll with clip one. And we're on live with my sister and the academic head of Avenues, Jasmine Lightflung. So, Jasmine, welcome to the show. I love what you've got going with the hair, my dear.
Thank
We
you.
have we've had quite a history of creating change, and Jasmine has led from the front, the woman and the genius behind our curriculum, our framework, and our coaching pedagogies. And Jasmine has a very interesting story as well. A lot of lessons that have been learned, don't you, Jas?
I do. I do. I do.
Before we get there, we have our other pillars in the team. There are two other ladies who will be joining this first panel. We're breaking the evening up into three segments. This is the first group of three, and we're calling in your partner in crime, Jasmine, somebody else who's been with us for many, many years now. I'd like to bring on Fidela Marva Taryang. Eva, please roll our clip. Let's see where she is. Della, if you're there. Hey,
Hi, Sam.
Rockstar.
Hi, guys. What's up?
Nice to see you. Is that a piano behind you?
It is, but it's out of tune.
Well, Della is a lot of things for our team, does so much work on the ground for all of us. But at heart, she's a musician, loves the music, loves the piano. And I think, Della, you have a couple of interesting stories yourself to share with us.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So, Della, I'm coming back to you very shortly. We have our third participant for the evening, a lady who leads the charge for our administration, someone who started with us as a student and then grew into leadership. And here she is, Pompey Datta. Let's roll clip. Hi, Pompey. I hope you're there.
Hi, sir.
Hey, I'm gonna have to turn my camera up a bit. Okay, so first of all, happy Women's Day to all you wonderful ladies. Good to have you on the show.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I suppose you're not greeting me a happy Women's Day. This is very sad, ladies.
Women's Day, sir.
Okay, so we're actually at a very interesting trajectory right now with our organization. And for everyone who's just tuning in, we're celebrating the women behind the scenes and the women who make it happen on the ground as coaches, as administrators, as media professionals, and as musicians part time, but who are really making a difference with young boys and girls in our part of the world. And before we do that, let me just visit the hashtag down there. Ladies, you can read it as well. The theme for the year is choose to challenge. Jasmine, I want to start with you. When you first began your journey of change, of trying to figure out where you fit in life, uh, tell us about your very first working experience. What was it like?
I I think that was about 16 years ago. I think then I think that was about then, and I was just in college, my first year in college, and I joined as a part-time counselor. Back then, all we needed to do was make those follow-up calls in the evening through the landline. We had a landline then, no cell phones, and I would finish my classes in the morning and then come down to the center. And that is how I started. That's how I
I
started
remember,
as a
I
student
remember
counselor.
when, I remember when Pompey also joined us as a counselor who was also a student working her way up through life. Pom, Jasmine, you have shared such similar paths. Uh, how was it for you? How did you begin?
Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
So, yeah, I think it's that many years that has been probably as much as 16, is that 15, 16 years. So, similarly, like what Jasmine said, go for my morning classes and then I would come back for, to work and then have my whole day spent at avenues. And yes, it's a long journey. If you think, I can't even remember what exactly were those days because it's been too many years now.
Pom, when you joined us, I think Della was already on the team,
Yeah.
and you
Yes.
were part of the original, team of people who had started the brand. Del, we call Fidela Del at home and in office and at work. Del, what's your favorite rock ballad of all times? I'm going to start with that.
It's going to be very, very difficult. I have like a lot. I have a lot of collection. I guess there's no space in my hard drive anymore, so I have to keep buying them. People say, people tell me, why do you need hard drive when there's everything in the internet? But it's very different, to have a collection. I feel it's very different. So
So,
if
Del,
you ask me for my
name it.
a lot.
You've got to choose one. I knew this would be a tough one for you to answer.
A rock ballad. Can I choose any of my favorite? If not a rock ballad, it can be a progressive or anything. Can I choose one?
Of course, Del, this is your show.
So my favorite is Dream Theater. The Spirit Carries On. That's my favorite. That's my all time. I can listen to it over and over again.
So we have a very large fan base for Dream Theater on the team. Any of you who don't know it, we wouldn't blame you because you're not as old as we are now. But Del, I would love to talk to you about your journey. You've taken on many roles at Avenues. You've worked your way up as well to a position where you're now able to deal with so many stakeholders, so many individuals. We've put together events, created a hospitality division. You started with accent neutralization, if you remember. Um, what are the challenges that you would say were your real hurdles, your top three challenges?
I started very young, almost 16 years ago. So when you, my first challenge was when you have students who are older than you know, to make them listen to you. That's one of my challenge. Um, it was very very difficult initially because I felt that I was very very young then, and to have these students, like I said, older than you, and to make them listen to you, and when they don't, you can't even, you know, be harsh or be very firm also on them. So that's a challenge initially, but then I overcame that. And the next challenge is my health. um, those days I would fall sick often, very very often, sir. If you would remember, sometimes you know, we'd have to book a cab for me to go back home because I couldn't work anymore. That's one of my challenge. That also I've become so much better now. And my third one is yes, my family, my daughter. It I'm still balancing it now, and I hope I'm doing justice to both work and her and family. So
Remember years when we were working towards creating what we have now, and we'd always wonder what would happen, how would we handle the load of being parents, of being moms and dads, of being husbands and wives, and then carry on with work. And in a small community like ours, in a small town like ours, those challenges are even more severe because you get labeled and you get judged a lot. Pom, I know that you've grown up in a very loving household, but what were the challenges that you had? I mean, what were the sort of societal pressures you had to deal with? Because I know you had a lot of them.
Challenges. If you talk about challenges, sometimes at work we would be late, and then coming back home, you were answerable to certain questions. What took you so long? And there's certain work timings. How come you're not adhering to those? So yes, that was one of the challenges, but eventually it got better. And then first few years, because since I was studying and I was working at the same time, so I had to balance between my studies and my work, which was also challenging. I think for the later half of the time is yeah, balancing everything, emotional balance and then the workload balance. I think those were the challenges, not not knowing how to handle it, but when it comes and it falls on you, you just know, you just have the answers to all of them. It's not pre-planned, but you just have answers to them.
So
I think the
you're saying wisdom emerges in the crisis when you're in a
yes,
problem.
yeah, like they say, no, necessity is the mother of invention. So exactly when there's a need, that need to do something, how do I put it? Because someone please help me. I'm just running out of words. Yeah.
I think you've been very
When
hard.
a crisis hits you, you know how to deal with it then. Before that, probably you don't think, yeah, okay, there might be a situation where you have to deal with things. But when it really, really hits you, then you know that yes, this is the answer to that. Before that,
Jas,
until it hits you, you're not preparing yourself.
Jasmine, you've had your fair set of challenges as well, and part of that was also personal loss and a couple of other things that have occurred along the way. But I wanted to go a little deeper into this conversation and speak to you about what Pompey just said. How wisdom emerges from the moment, how we suddenly find a way to move ahead. What does that phrase mean to you, Jas? Move forward. We talk about it a lot in our sessions. We teach our young people to understand the value of choosing to embrace your challenges, of choosing to embrace your situation and find the solution. What does it mean to you to move forward?
I think the first thing to mm, be able to move forward is to actually know yourself. And to know yourself, you need to be able to spend time with yourself, reflect on everything that you're able to do and that you have done. Sometimes we don't have the privilege to spend that time, that quality time with ourselves. So in those moments, I believe very much in the fact that our subconscious plays a very important role in making in helping us make decisions and those choices. And somewhere down the line, I think that it will always help you uncover or remind you and help you make that choice, because you have been through similar instances or similar experiences before. So to be able to apply wisdom, you need to be able to have actually the knowledge and the understanding of that particular situation, and to do that you need time. So wisdom comes with time and with experience. So I think, Pompey, for that, I think we've done a lot of soul searching to be able to understand that wisdom is such a huge word. Moving forward are such two huger words. And to be able to do that, you really need to be in touch with yourself first. I think that's what's most important.
Jas, you've seen your colleagues, Pompey and Della, go through so much. I want you, uh, with the permission of Pompey and Della, of course, to talk to us about the superhero you see in Pompey. Something from her life. I'm sure that Pompey's already spoken with you about what's okay and not, but we'd love to hear how you read Pompey and how you read her superpowers.
I think the I think the I think the Pompey has so many superpowers, even Della. But if you're asking me for I think Pompey would be that kind of person who speaks through her silence, and you just know that she will be there when you need her. She isn't that Del. I think I don't know, Don't mind me saying this, but we've known each other for 16 years now, and I think it's safe to say that you're not a very vocal person, but when you are, you speak the truth, and that truth hurts you, but it also instructs you to choose and to be better, and that's something that you've been, that superpower to be able to do that. Uh, I mean, it was very difficult for me because I'm an emotional person. I like to display my emotions, and live, having lived this journey or traveled this journey with you, I've had to understand that no two people will respond to a particular situation the same way. And you've taught me that. To be able to embrace my self-worth and to be able to understand through silence. And it's not always about feelings. You just have to know what is right for you, and you do it. So that is the superpower, I think, that stands out for me for Pom, is the fact that she is this silent force, that compass that guides, at least for me, my direction. When I feel I'm going a little off, she centers me again. So Pom, that's your superpower.
Wow, silence. In silence, the truth instructs. I'm going to put that down as a learning from today. Pompey, I see you. I see you with a very twisted smile there. I really hope that's a good smile. We're handing it over to Pom now. If you want to respond to that, Pompey, I'm giving you the opportunity to respond to that.
Thank you, Jess. I've always come across to be the loudest person. So if actually you're saying that, my silence can lead to something, that's such a nice thing to hear. And yes, you can always count on me for anything. Not only you, but anybody who's very close to me can always count on me.
Hey, Pam, I'm going to. Can I butt in?
Sorry. Yes.
I didn't see only silence. I said the fact that you tell us what it is to our face, and the truth hurts, but it also instructs. So that is what you are to me. The fact that you are the truth, and it hurts sometimes to know it, but it also instructs me to do the right thing. That is something.
Okay, this is a hug moment. Della, I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me what you've seen in jazz over the years. Over to you now, Della. Della, you'll have to unmute your mic, my dear.
It is. Can you hear me?
Done. Yes, we can.
Okay. So Jazz is, oh wow, she's really a woman. I always say this to the others that, you don't hear her speak ill of anyone. In fact, she's got a really good soul, and I'm really inspired by her. She's always there, and like how she said about Pom, that we can count on Pom, we can count on Jazz as well. So that's
You know,
Jazz
Della,
to me.
Del, when you're coaching and when you're working with the kids, I remember the early years when we'd head down very early in the mornings to one of our favorite campuses, Union Christian College, UCC, at Barapani. I remember we'd get out at like 5 a.m. in the morning and head down there. I don't know how we managed life, but we had a group of 300 kids. I remember there was a student who was so enamored by you, and I recall them saying how much they l- looked up to you and depended on you. And there's that sense of attachment that all our students have with us. And I want to ask you, Della, what does that feel like? What does it do to your mind to be in a situation where you feel looked up to with that weight of responsibility, that kind of respect? I mean, we don't really deserve it, do we? We're just doing our jobs. But the amount of respect and the amount of, I would use the word adulation that you get, what would you tell a young coach or a young trainer or a young teacher? How do you manage that?
Uh, it's scary because when you have people look up to you, you have to be uh, composed, I guess. But then again, there's pride, and I don't know what else. There's that small thing in your heart that says that you've accomplished something, and yes, I think I can be proud of that.
But how do you manage that pressure? Because it is a lot of pressure.
It
I
is
mean,
really, I think like how Jazz and Pom was saying earlier, it comes with time, it comes with the moment. You'll just know what to do.
so your own intuition, your wisdom in that
Yes.
moment, as always. Uh, Jazz, in terms of the coping pressures of life, emotionally, Della used a very interesting phrase of how emotions play such a big role in the way we treat ourselves, in the way we treat other people, and we're governed by our emotions, aren't we, Jazz? And I mean, how do you cope? Because there's a lot of personal baggage we bring to work every day. How do we leave it at the door? Everybody says, uh, professional and personal should be separated. But how do you do that when you're speaking from a place of emotion, when you're speaking from a place of passion?
Uh, when I enter those mentorship sessions and the classes that we conduct, I always, this is what something I say to everybody, that it is not possible, absolutely not possible, to leave your baggage at the front door, because you are dealing with humans. Managing humans is such a brave thing to do, but to be able to do that, you need to accept the truth. You need to accept that situation. And to be able to accept that situation, you just have to just say it to yourself, this is what it is. So that's one step of coping with any emotional baggage that you carry with you to work or from the house to work. Because in all these years, I don't really think you can separate the two, you know. So, but you can prioritize, you can compartmentalize, but that also comes with time. So, for me, the first step is to accept the situation, to accept that it's happening to me, and then move forward. That's the first step. So that's that's that for me.
Pompey,
Ye-
I really want to come to you and ask you about the challenge, if you're willing to talk about it, of working your way through great personal loss. I think there's a lot of men and women who will sign into this program now and maybe later, who will go through what I think, we've all gone through at some point in our lives, losing someone you love, and then trying to find your way back into work despite that. What has that journey been like for you, Pompey?
Sir, like it has been a very tough one. Losing someone who was my world to me for every single day, for every single moment, to turn on to a person, like you have some queries inside. For any small questions, my dad was the go-to person, and to have him just leave us without saying a word, like literally what happened that day, he did not speak a word to us, and just he left. So from that feeling to be living here and not having him around is really really heartbreaking. But as I don't know, I think it just comes to you. You can't show emotions all the time because you miss the person. You can't be crying all of it, and then getting other people in the house to come and you know just be very. I think you just have to be really really tough and say that yes, it was part of life. He had lived his journey, he had gone in his terms and condition, and wherever he is, he's in a better place. Yes, we miss that person, and to lose someone, I don't think it's a. I don't know how why life has to treat people that way, but you know, it's hard.
I heard I heard something very very wise a few days ago about dealing with hurt and loss. And I think the one thing that even Jas and I can relate to in that context, Della, I'm sure you too, is that people say, time heals everything. But the truth is, we choose, at some point to just step up and move forward. And I've seen that with all of you. I mean, we've all gone through incredible personal conflict, incredible personal losses, and through all of it, you've all been so resolute in your commitment. I almost feel like sometimes work can even be a simple escape, because you're now diverting your energy towards something productive, towards something positive. And I think in that sense, we've been very fortunate to have each other, to have this team, to have the work that we do. And you have to show up, you have to get up, show up, and be you, the best that you can be. And Della, I remember uh, rushing to the hospital when your daughter was born, uh, and I was just we were all so elated by the news. I mean, apart from all the personal challenges we have, that journey, of becoming a mother, you know, on the team that you started working with was just it's almost like we have this group of parents on the team now. We started young, we worked our way to a place of having careers, and now we've seen people getting married and then having babies on the team. So, Della, I wanted you to tell us, as a mother, as a young working mom, what are the challenges that you're dealing with right now? in your specific context, what would you like to share with the world? Because I'm sure there are a lot of mothers who would learn from this as well. Sorry, Della, I think your mic is on mute, or we can't hear you anymore.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, so balancing between family and work. I guess when work when I'm being demanded at work very early, and I have to leave my daughter in bed because it's still early for her to wake up, and then she sees me dressed up and getting ready for work. I think that's my challenge because as a mother, I know I can't leave her when she's crying, and but then I know I have to go to work as well. So how do I cope with these things? I'm getting better at it. I talk to her now. I She's beginning to understand again with time. So yeah, that's my challenge.
Time. I mean, you have to juggle so much, even in terms of wanting to attend to music, wanting to attend to being a mom, having work. Pompey, your little guys in school now, and I know. Oh boy, I mean, come on, tell us what has it been like?
So with me, it's like because I have to take care of him solely. So every time the challenge that I face is if I have an early scheduled meeting and I'm not done with his bathing and giving him his breakfast, I feel very incomplete because I know, yes, if I don't do it, if there's somebody else in the house, will take care of it. But then I personally feel that I haven't done my job. It's just it's just me. It can be done by somebody else, but then it's just me the way I am. I want everything to be on time. So, that's the biggest challenge right now. I'm struggling to figure out how do I manage it. Since the lockdown has happened, my boy has been even more clingy because it's been, like I said, it's a year now. So the attachment is much more. Right now, he's in the other room shouting his way out to find out a way to come to this room. So, like, these small little challenges are there. And he's 24/7 next to me, like mama's boy, literally following every bit of mine. So recently, what happened was that he took a phone and then he was talking exactly the way I talk on the phone. And I was surprised because I don't hear myself. And this boy has been watching me and trying to speak like me. And it was really, I don't know what to say, but it was really, really funny to see him speak like exactly. I felt I was hearing another mini Pompey.
Thanks, Pom. That was very sweet. Uh, I have just there's just so many questions and so much that we can learn from the three women in this particular grouping. I call them our original three here because they've been with us the longest. So Della, if you're still there, Pom and Jasmine, you know how much I love you guys. I mean, the respect that I have for you and your journeys and your growth and how you manage and juggle all these obligations and responsibilities with so much love in your life. I don't know who else could do it. I mean, it's just, I respect you. That's all I can say. Jazz, you're for every other woman
But sir, I need to say
who,
something.
yeah, Pom, I'm scared. Say it now.
Anything, yeah, no, anything wouldn't be possible if it was not with, having a boss like you, where work becomes easier and you give us the privilege of handling things. Like, I remember when I gave birth to Ahan in 6 months, I didn't go to work. 6 months I didn't go to work. And after that, you were kind enough to allow me to work for a few hours and come back home. You knew that a child needs his mother. And, I mean, if you were not the boss, somebody else wouldn't have given that privilege. So I really want to thank you for whatever you have done for me and everyone in the team. But right now, I'm talking only on my behalf. I'm really, really grateful to have you as my boss.
Pom, this is about you guys. You have to stop
It
this now.
is.
But
It is. I mean,
I'm so
who would
grateful.
have
Thank
understood a
you.
woman? I mean, need of a
Well,
woman when it's that stage of life.
I mean, we're all parents now, and I have my own daughter and my son, and I know how hard it was for my wife and I to cope initially. But we had the joy of having our mother-in-law with us to help, and my mother as well, and my dad. But it gets really difficult when, like you, Pom, you have so much of it on your own, the responsibilities on your shoulders. So, all is with you. Don't worry, got your back. I don't know where Della disappeared to, though. Jazz, I was coming to you with one last question for the evening for your particular grouping here. I know that there's a lot of young men and women who are living with their parents, parents who are growing older, parents who need us, parents who are also clingy sometimes, especially with age and with the challenges of ill health. Jazz, do tell us, I mean, how do you cope with that? Or what's it been like for you as the daughter of our home? You have mom to take care of. You were responsible for dad's health while he was with us, and still you managed to cope with work and all the pressures and the societal obligations that you also have. What's it been like, Jazz, for you? This is your time.
It's I don't know how to put it into words. There's so much. Uh, I want to start by saying that I'm grateful that I am where I am in the place that I am, working with you as my boss and my brother, because given the fact that I'm the only daughter and I have to stay home, take care of mom and dad and everything else. When somebody's sick, I have to run. When there's a gas cylinder that's empty, I have to fill it up and I have to carry it up myself. And I'm grateful that I think my stars aligned to and the stars knew that I was supposed to be where I am right now, given the fact that everything happened so fast and everything happened at the same time. And the fact that Papa also raised me never to think of myself as a daughter, but also to think of myself as a third son. So I think that gave me this best of both worlds, to be able to accept that yes, I can do stuff that boys are supposed to do, and I can also be the daughter at the same time. But that was something that I used to struggle with because I grew up in your shadows, two brothers. So my thoughts, my actions, everything was, uh, maleish. And then, what struck me is that there was this one day when I had gone to Papa and he was on his dialysis bed. And this was in hospital. This was the time when we had just found out, and he was there for 4 months, and we didn't have any help, no maids, no one in the house. So I was taking practically care of everything, right? And Papa would always call me his third son. But that day when I took to him this fish that he had been longing to eat, and he said, I don't think you can cook anything. You've always been the third son, so you can't cook. I cooked it, took it to him, I fed it to him, and he said, with his eyes looking at me, he said, now I can say that I have a daughter. And that was the turning point in my life when I realized that that voice that kept telling me that I was the third son, somehow helped me build a resilience that men also have. And so that's why.
I like how you put that, a resilience that men also have.
Yeah, because we keep thinking about women and how emotionally strong we are, but I think men are very emotionally resilient as well. And I saw that in Papa's eyes, and I see that in your eyes, and I see that in the eyes of all the men on our team. And that is something that so now it's safe to say that we're all emotionally resilient people. There's no gray line. There's no that this woman can do this or the man can do this. No, it's just that you take that job up and you do it with your love, with all that's in you. If we can carry like gas cylinders up three steps, three stairs of steps, a full gas cylinder on your back, or 25 kgs of rice on your back, when your mom's having a second stroke and there's literally nobody there and you have to do it. You just do it. So it has been challenging, but I think all those voices in my head have blessed me so much to be able to strike that medium, to be a daughter and to be just there, present whenever they need them. And I'm so, I keep telling Pom, and I even told Mama the other day, I said, if I was working in any other place, I would have been kicked out a long time ago for the amount of for the amount of leaves or the amount of lateness that I had to come, or the amount of running I had to do up and down. But that's what we have, this beautiful home that is the place from where it's a source, it's a life source for us, and I'm just grateful for all of that. So yeah, challenges have been there, but I'm grateful for those challenges. It's made me who I am today.
I love that note, Jas. I think we'll close on a note of gratitude. And ladies, I have something very special for you, a challenge to you for today. And I want to see who takes on the challenge, because every group will have a winner. And I have a special bar of chocolate in my car for you guys. Okay, I'm going to get it to you soon. Okay, so uh, here's how we do this. The theme for the year, the theme for the year is, gosh, you're gonna have to remind me, Eva. Is challenge. It has to do with embracing challenge, and I want to see the hashtag. It's choose to challenge. There you go. It's on the screen right now on a ticker. And the idea behind this, and I've read some amazing content across the globe today, on how women are choosing to challenge the norms, choosing to challenge the status quo, to disrupt their communities. And I wanted to ask you, if you had one wish in your life right now, something you would choose to challenge at work or in life, what would it be? And we end on that note, but not before we hear Della playing something for us. Della, the musician. I mean, if you have your piano with you, we want to hear you sing. We want to hear you play something. We'd love to hear you. Is it
I,
happening? Are we on?
I am very, very sorry, sir. There are no lights. There's no inverter that side, and my acoustic is also out of tune. So I guess if you'd let me come
So I'm
back.
coming back to you. We're coming back to you when the lights are on. Okay. Jasmine, where's the guitar, my dear? Oh wow! Don't tell me the guitar's not with you. I thought you always have one in the corner somewhere. So Jasmine happens to be a drummer, a flutist, a guitarist, a pianist. Della is a music teacher at heart. She reads score, she writes music. She's also a piano teacher and instructor. I'm not going to talk about all her various academic musical qualifications, but Della is a superstar in the music field as well. Pompey plays the strings of our hearts, so she's a musician as well in that space. Wow, Pom, what a serious look on your face. Come on. A little smile would be nice. Okay, so Del, if you are willing, we come back to you. But let's start with Jas. Jas, anything for our audience today? Anything special? Do you have something around? Okay, come back while I ask somebody else the question in the meantime. Okay, get your instrument in. Pompey, what would you choose to challenge in, let's say, the
Would I
year
choose
ahead?
to challenge in the
In the year ahead, what's going to be your challenge that you will embrace and go to town with? I mean, I know you're going to kick that challenge in the butt and make it work.
challenge? What would be the challenge that I would? I have to think about it. Give me a minute to think about it.
Look at the others. He's a runaway. Della, what's yours? What are you going to choose to challenge this year?
Challenge.
Del, we can't hear you. So everyone, I mean, if you are tuning in or if you're listening in, this is a very interesting hashtag for the year for International Women's Day. And the hashtag is choose to challenge. And there's a lot of people around the world, thousands, posting a challenge that they wish to embrace, a challenge that they wish to face. And that's the hashtag for IWD 2021. Choose to challenge. And I've just challenged the women on our team, the first three panelists, to speak about something close to their hearts, something that they wish to challenge. Pompey, if you've got your answer, I'm coming back to you right now. Oh, Jas has got a guitar. Pompey, come on, out with it. I know you have a son to get back to. I don't want to keep you on for
No,
too
my
long.
challenge would be I look for being perfectionist in everything that I'm doing. No, so this year I challenge myself. Let it be. Let it go the way it's
So you
going.
so your challenge is to let it go.
Let it go. Yes, to let it go and see what comes out of it. And not
So
it's okay for me not to have like it's supposed to be 9 to 10 should be breakfast. It's okay even if it's 12 o'clock is breakfast. Let it be. It's all right. I don't care. 1:30 is lunch. It's all right. Forget about it. It's like I'm not going to follow time anymore now. This year, that is what I'm challenging myself. I don't want because I'm too stuck up with that now. So I just want to get out of that normal thing of being stuck up.
I hear you. So choose to
And
challenge.
let go.
Your choose to challenge for the year would be to let things go.
Yeah, and let it flow. Let it go and let it
Let it
flow.
let it flow. Let go and let flow. Okay. All the best with that, Pompey. If you need to sign out, if you need to get back to your son, we completely understand. But before you do, if you'd like to listen to
It's fine,
Jasmine
sir.
and
It's all
Della,
right.
yeah,
It's okay.
super. Jas, come on, you're on. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you my sister, who's a quiet rock star. Jas, come on, let's hear something.
Okay, so this is the guitar that Papa got me when I was in class 10. So I think this is what, 20, 15, 20, 21 years later, and I still have it with me. So, and I'm going to play, what should I play? I think I'll play the first song that I learned on the guitar, and that was you. You taught me how to play this song, Mark. So, and everybody join, okay? So you can Della, I think you know the song. Mark, you know the song. Pom, you also know the song. So this is what my brother taught me. The first song
Wow,
I knew. Class 5. Do you remember it?
you're killing me, Jas. Tell me fast. Oh my gosh.
Saying I love you is not the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I don't want you not to say, but if you only knew more than words is all you have to sing with me. Hello.
Hey, just it's going to come out all garbled because timings are off. But just the chorus, that
Wait.
chorus was such a throwback.
Yay! Woo!
Okay, just the chorus, one last time. Because we love that song.
What was the song? Oh, I mean, what's the chorus, Del?
Della's keeping a very stoic silence right now. Very wise she is. She's going to blame the mic and she's going to blame the lights.
Yeah, how? What is the chorus of this? We've sung it so many times. What are the choruses?
Hey, Della, come on. This is your baby. Come on.
Hey, no, I'll play another one. No. I'm sticking to this one only. Hey, what's the chorus? Y'all should tell me the chorus, no?
Let's start singing
I'm
from
shattered.
It's
See what I
not
mean?
the words I want to hear from you. It's not that I want to. I think you have to play, otherwise I'll go out of tune.
It's
Not
in
the
the
place
if you
you
only knew.
only knew how
How we say.
Say
Oh gosh, it's gonna be completely
it
messed up now.
you'd
to
be,
show
Okay,
you
let's
how
how
you
you feel.
feel. More
More
than
more than words.
words is all you have to do to make it real. And you
Then you
wouldn't have
wouldn't have to say.
that you love me.
Pompey, come
'Cause
on, you gotta wind this up.
I'm already you. I think
Okay, we're done.
Tom
Well
would go
done.
with Queen.
We tried, we tried.
We
Sorry, guys.
tried. We did.
Tom would go with the Queen song, right? Another one by Exodus.
Yay!
Remember?
Another one by
Dada, you're
Sudas.
next. So you're bringing on your track next, okay? So just to end this segment, I'm gonna say we've learned from these wonderful women on the screen right now that wisdom emerges in crisis. It brings out the best in you, or it brings out the worst in you. But what you choose to bring out defines what you believe behind with the people you love. And I think these women represent that, and they are the face of our team. I'm so proud of you all. You know how much I love you guys. So happy Women's Day, and we're going to call it quits for this group for now. But I'm coming back to you, Della, and we have a few other guests on right now. Jasmine, thank you very much for your time.
Anytime, sir.
Ciao, my dear sister. See you in the next. Pompey, ciao.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Bye.
And we
Bye,
are on
everyone.
with
Good
Della, who is refusing to play right now. Apparently, there's lights out. But are you ready? Can you go right now?
Yeah, I can do that.
So we'll come back to you in the next segment. We can't hear you right now.
Because I'll have to take this
Thank you,
there.
Iba. First panel is done, I think. We'll say goodbye to the ladies and come in to greet our next group of wonderful ladies on the team. I hope our audience is enjoying these little personal glimpses into the lives, into the stories of our women folk at Avenues, of our leaders on the team. Next up, I have some incredible personalities. I mean, you've seen them on the training floors. Your students, if they're there, if they're signing in, please say a big hello to my first guest in the second section of this entire episode, Dafi Shisha Kharhujan, who heads our partnerships and our human resources division and is a phenomenal trainer. Dafi, if you're there, please sign in. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, sir.
We can't hear you at the moment.
Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I think we've lost connectivity. Either it's on my end or Eva, we can't hear Dafi.
Can you hear me now?
Dafi, I'm sorry. Maybe you have to choose your mic sources better. If there's anybody here who can give us some inputs on why Dafi's mic isn't working. Dafi, try and say something right now. Maybe you could try that out.
Am I audible now?
No, we can't hear you, my dear. Something's off here. Okay, so folks, we're having a little bit of a technical glitch here, but we're going to get into it as soon as possible. Let's see where we are. Everyone here? Let's get us started.
Am I audible?
Okay, so
sir?
I'm trying my best to see where this gap is happening, but I can't seem to find it.
Can you hear me now?
You can hear Dafi's voice. Okay, so maybe it's me. Is it the speakers? Dafi, can you try and speak again? We're going to see if this is audible one last time.
Hello.
Okay, so I'm not able to hear you for some reason. Forgive us, ladies and gentlemen. We seem to be having a slight technical snag here. But we'll work this out right now. Okay, let's look at the comments. Are people saying that we can hear you? We can hear you, ma'am. So a lot of people are saying they can hear you, Duffy. I don't know why I can't hear you. Let me change my source and my speakers. Just a second, folks. Going off. Let's go up here. Okay, let's go back to basics. Okay, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, sure.
And now I can hear you too. Perfect. Hi, ma'am.
Hi, sir.
I'm going to take off my pods and just get into our conversation. Duffy, it's good to have you on the show. Happy Women's Day to you.
Thank you, sir.
Your connectivity seems to be stalling, but that's okay. Duffy, I have so many questions for you, but I'd love to get on your other team members. We're doing group 2 right now. This is Duffy. Next, we have Safira Natli Rani. Safira, if you're there, please join in right now. We'd love to have you on. Hi, Safi.
Hello, sir.
Nice to see you. And Safi is a coach at Avenues, manages a lot of work that has to do with our paperwork and our documentation and our back offices, but has emerged over the years to also be a trainer with us now. Thank you for joining us, Safi. Next on the show, I think if I'm not mistaken, we have Preeti. Preeti, if you're there, please join in. Preeti, waiting your arrival. Okay, I think Preeti might be having a technical snag. That's okay. We have these two powerhouses here, Duffy and Safi. So, Duffy, do you remember your very first? Oh, there she is. Hi, Preeti.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing? Good evening.
Good evening, sir. I'm good.
Thanks for signing in, Preeti. We are looking at one of the few rare personalities in the Northeast to have uh, a CELTA certification from the British Council. She's an amazing communication skills coach, and Preeti joins us from our home in the hills today. Hi, Preeti. Happy Women's Day.
Thank you, sir. Happy Women's Day to all there.
Duffy, you're a very seasoned life coach, but I remember when you joined us 10 years ago. I remember the very first interview we had together. I still remember the moment when you joined the team. Can you tell us, given your circumstances, given your family, given the upbringing, given community, what were the biggest challenges you had to get to where you are now? I mean, if you had to name the top 3 things.
Okay. I think number one is the kind of mindset people have towards working on, private companies or organizations or anything that is not government. That is number one. That was the number one challenge. And I guess number 2 was aligning what you're great at, what you love, with the work that you do. That was number 2. And number 3, of course, the balance that you have to strike between your personal and professional work. Now that I'm married, I understand those challenges are there as well. So I guess the first challenge, to name them again, would be to fight against the very notion that it's only a government job that can give you that security or that happiness or something that'll finally label you as settled. Number 2, again, of identifying what works for you, what's good for you, so that you can be good for another person, for the kind of work that you do. And number 3 is the balance that you have to strike personally and professionally.
That balance you speak, personally and professionally, especially with the sort of work you've had and the kind of roles you've acquired over the years, has been a challenge. We've all had to learn to cope with it. But of all the challenges in the world, I mean, I frankly, I'm a huge fan. I don't know if you know this, Safi, but I don't know how you do it. I mean, Safi is a mom on the team as well, with very big boys now in the house and daughters as well. Safi, how do you? I mean, Duffy spoke about balancing personal and professional life. How have you done it? We all want to know because you handle it so well. I mean, we don't see the difficulties.
Actually, we all do face challenges in our lives, but then I'm sure the other mums in the out there would know how to balance your personal life and your professional life. It's really it has been difficult, but then I also believe that in crisis, you whenever you have to solve any problems, you'll always have these. I think it. I think I should say that it's a blessing in disguise that whenever you're stuck for your solutions, you just know what to do at that time, at that moment.
That's something that seems to be reflected across all the women who've spoken earlier as well about that wisdom that comes to you when you need it most at the right time. But Safi, I honestly want from you, to every other young mother. I believe you were a very young mother as well when you had your first, and I
Yes,
want
sir.
and I want you to tell the world, especially to the young women who are signing in today, uh, what would your advice be to young mothers who are suddenly hit by this, who need to know what to do next? What would be your advice to them?
My advice to them would be, but yes, again, if you have a supportive family, if you have a supportive husband, if you have a supportive mother or a dad, yes, my husband's like pointing out to himself, like, I'm here, I'm here. Yes, he's always been so supportive. That's the reason why I could, maybe I could face challenges in my life. And another advice that I would give them is, you should learn to manage your time, and you should be focused. You should know what to do, what not to do, and prioritize maybe.
What's your typical day like, Safi? I mean, on at home and then at work. What does a typical day go like for you? When do you wake up? How does the day start? How does it end? We'd love to see that little glimpse into your life.
You should ask Dafi about that, sir. I remember when she said, like, Safi, the moment you get up, you're like all full of energy, 100% charged. How do you do it? I don't know. It comes to me naturally. Maybe it's genetic. I have it from my mom. The moment I get up, I'll be like, okay, kids, get up, get up. I'm like an alarm clock. That's what they call me at home. I'm like an alarm clock. The moment I get up in the morning, I'll be like, yes, you get up, you get up. Even if I have to play the music, just to get them out of the bed, I do that. That's what I do.
Oh gosh, Safi. You know, it's very sad because everybody else gets to see the crazy you, and with me, you're always very formal and very demure, and in a sense, you choose to just hold back, and then suddenly I'll catch you in a crazy moment, and then I realize that Safi isn't who she says she is. Tell us what the real Safi is like. Or do we get your daughters to tell us?
Um, they call me, yes, and one thing they call me the alarm clock. The another thing they call me the quirky mom, the crazy one. That's what my friends call me too. I think a total package maybe,
5 stars on that answer, Safi.
but I can be, yes, but sometimes I can be a monster, to my kids especially.
Are they there right now?
Even to Duffy. Right now, no. They're having their exams, so
Okay. But I might ask you to bring them on. Preeti, you've spent a
sure, sure.
lot of time on the road with these fine human beings. These very respectable, very polite, very sweet ladies. You've spent the most time with them on the road. Tell us the truth, Preeti. Is it all that it seems it is?
Well, I think there's so much fun to be around Ma'am Duffy and Safi. It's you always look forward to those fun moments when you have to travel with these two ladies. And yes, there's so much you have to discover about Safi, sir. You're right. When you say that she is so much fun around us, but when it comes to you, she's like, okay, like I have to be conscious. But yeah, I hope you get to discover about her someday soon.
Friday. So, Preeti,
Trust me, we
listen,
don't want to see that.
just tell us your most memorable road trip with the ladies. Where was it? What was happening? What did you go for? Tell us a little bit about that.
Most memorable trip with both. Of course, it would be Bhoi. My time
Uh-huh.
in Bhoi in Nongpo. And of course, the training is there. We do what we have to do,
Tell
but
us about that as well, Preeti.
the stress booster, when you're so stressed and you want to have some fun, you just have to go to Safi. You just have to ask her to do some acting, and she'll start. She'll just start. We'll just okay, mimic this person, mimic that person, and then there's no stop. You just want to see her going on and on and on. So
Oh
that's
boy,
that's how that's what we do.
I'm afraid to ask this, but have you ever asked her to mimic me?
Well, I don't think Safi would want me to disclose each and everything here.
Okay, so that's a yes. Thanks, Safi. I don't know whether to be grateful or to be mad at you, but I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. Preeti, come on, tell us what has been your most memorable road trip for you as a human being who was brought up in a conventional environment, who had to go out to the big city for the first time in her life. We'd love to hear about that story.
Okay. I mean, I did say about this experience last time, I think, sir, with you and Jasmine during the episode, Keeping It Real. Uh, Experience-wise, it was one of the turning points in my life. Coming from a background that is so conventional in nature and who was so comfortable in her own cocoon, and to be able to step out, that too in one of the metro cities, on my own was a great learning experience where, of course, I gathered what I had to gather. I went there to learn. But along with that, I also got to know what being street smart, means. I got to know about many life skills, and somehow that was the time in my life when I felt like, yes, I can be independent and I can be dependent on myself. So, because I've been dependent on my family all the time, I've been dependent on my mother, my father, my brothers. But that experience in Kolkata was something that I will always cherish because it taught me how to be independent. Most of all, when we say that you're the only person that you will live with for the rest of your life, and you have to make your soul the strongest so that you can depend on your soul in the days to come and going forward in life. So that's what I can say, sir, about my experience.
That's so beautifully put, Preeti. I've taken a lot from that statement. You, when you speak from that place of personal experience, it reminds me of how each of you take life lessons from your own lives into your training sessions and into your life coaching sessions. And Daffy, you're a trainer who has really made her mark in the Northeast. You've done such great work with our youth. Tell us, to any how should I put it, to any aspiring trainer or to any aspiring coach out there who wants to get into the space of personal development, what is the mindset that you need to bring to the table as a coach? Daffy, we've lost your audio. I'm sorry.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. I believe to be a great coach, the most important thing is to be a listener. And everyone has a different story. And sometimes, we tend to talk more and listen less. But the more you listen, the more you get involved in the stories of your trainees, the more you understand the depth, the more you understand the kind of emotions and the background they come from. And until and unless you connect with their deepest self, I mean, the deepest emotions, the deepest fears, the deepest struggles, you can never really give your best, because at the end of the day, you can't help somebody to change if you don't really know what change they need. That kind of mentoring or coaching, I think, would be superficial if you don't get to know them, and their deepest fears and their deepest challenges. So that is what I would, yeah, say the important part of being a coach.
Safi, coaching for you came a little late in your career with us, but it's something you grew into and you embraced. I think it's safe to say, ladies, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's not a room that Safi doesn't go to that isn't left a little more emotional, a little more sentimental. She touches people very deeply. Safi, how do you do it? What's your secret to coaching? What do you use as your go-to technique in the room?
Um, Before I answer that question, I just remembered the movie Kung Fu Panda, where there's a dialogue. Um, the panda says to his, I mean the dad, which is apparently the goose. The dialogue goes, "There are no secret ingredients. You just need to believe that the soup, that particular soup, is something special." So again here, in my part, I would say that there is no secret ingredient as well. The only thing is that I connect with the kids is because I take them as my own kids, maybe, and I connect them with them emotionally at some point. So that's the reason why I maybe I move them emotionally.
You take them on as your own children. I think when you do
Yes.
that, you personalize it and you make it so genuine because your affection is real, your care is real, you know.
Yes.
And Safi, we've
Probably
seen
yes.
that happen in the rooms. I mean, yeah. Preeti,
Sir?
for the communications world, for people who are teaching English to speakers of other languages, especially, given your experience in that area, how about sharing three communication skills must do's, things you must do to get better at communicating? What would they be to you?
Okay. So I think, according to me, number one would be um, to make that decision that yes, it is time for me to refine my communications if that is my goal, to be able to ready yourself and having that mindset. Secondly, getting the technicals right, because most of us we are skeptical, in communicating in English. It's because we become conscious, what if I make some errors now? What if I become conscious? What if others judge me? So if we get our technicals right, I think 80% of the job is done, because you know something that needs to be constructed, and you just have to portray it. And thirdly would be getting the technicals into the, into place. It's time for me to practice. So I have to practice. Without practice, I don't think we can really achieve, or you cannot have the outcome as you want it to be. So get yourself ready, pick the technicals, and practice them by applying it into your daily conversation. So I think these are the top three skills that one must abide by it if you
Well,
really, really want to refine your communications.
that generally makes so much sense. I mean, even in the world of, let's just say, getting into the act of public speaking, I think it's a decision. Number one, like you said, you make that decision to get there. But
Yes.
every decision you make to get there, there being something that you want in life or any other goal, requires you to put in place a certain set of action steps, a certain set of plans. I
Yeah.
suppose you call it that. And
Yes.
Duffy, you've lined up, I think, a galaxy of opportunities, even within our organization that we've embraced. You've taken partnerships forward. If for those of you who are tuning in, Duffy manages our community partnerships, builds these relationships. So I'm not going to ask you a technical question. What I want to ask you is, what to you is at the heart of building meaningful relationships in life? Relationships that last, whether it's with a client or with a vendor or with a student. I think it all comes down to a few things. What would you say? You agree with me, Duffy?
Um, I think the very foundation that from perspective of campus partnerships lead, we have this foundation of um, growth. That's something that we look for. And when we share that common goal, because when you're forming these partnerships with the campuses who truly believe in their students and who wants to see them grow, is the same kind of objective that we want to achieve their growth as well. So when those kind of that vision aligns, there's that foundation of trust that is built. And I think it starts with growth that they want to see in their kids, in their institution, their colleges, and their campuses. And that's the same kind that we want to achieve as well. And when we do go out there in the field, interact with students and coach them and see and help them grow, there's that trust that forms. And those relationships that have been based and formed on trust, they just don't end, but they continue even in the future, which is why I guess in 10 years or in 7 years since I've managed campus partnerships lead, we never call those schools and colleges as clients, but we've always called them family, because we can always go back to them, and they have our backs and we have theirs.
When you talk about these campuses and the partners that we have, and we call them family, I was thinking about our most, I think, remote campus we've been to has been at a very special place called Nongtalang. The village at the border of Bangladesh. Do you remember what it was like your very first time getting to that campus, Duffy? I think that was a very special journey for our whole team, because we were beginning to discover how large and how deep our impact would have to be if we really wanted to make a difference.
Hmm. We have been the year that I joined Avenues, most of our projects, most of the training was basically in Shillong. We hardly, got involved in projects that were outside Shillong, or at least, in the close by areas. But when opportunities opened and we started traveling to these remote villages, it was really amazing to discover uh, campuses and colleges. Of course, there are many challenges, but that that instills in you a certain kind of drive and passion that, these are the areas that you really want to work at, because this is where you want to see that change. And I remember when we went to Nongtalang first, it was a struggle because we couldn't find the location. It was our first time. I remember I went to Nongtalang the first time with Man and Dari, if I'm not mistaken. And from a distance, we saw this village, beautiful village, Nongtalang. and saw this campus was painted in green, and classrooms really small, and students coming from all around near Dauki side, Sokha side, and who, for the love of education, sometimes they travel on foot to come and learn. So those kind of experiences, that kind of exposure, really warms your heart, and I believe that's when, even as a trainer and as a coach, you give your best and you discover yourself more after discovering them. So these are the experiences of rural campuses. So you're not audible.
Sorry. Thank you, Dafi. That was a very nice insight into, the kind of expanding horizons that we've been embracing over the years. And I think rural Meghalaya, rural Northeast is where we really want to make our impact felt. And it starts with trainers like these wonderful women on the screen who are committed to their passion. Safi, did your passion find you, or did you find your passion? What is your passion? I mean, for the world. Love to hear it from you.
Sir, honestly, when I first joined Avenues, I was like, oh my God, I was skeptical. I was like, do I really belong here? I mean, the women there, they dress really well, they speak good English. I was really intimidated at first, but then Avenues is the only place, honestly, Avenues is the only place where I'm still working for, it's been, hang on, 6 years, 6 years. Avenues is the only place where I'm stuck for 6 years. Had it been some other place, I would probably work for only a year or two or three max. So I think I would say that when um, when I um, when I started off as a trainer, then I was like, okay, I like this job. Even though I have already been a teacher, I mean, I've taught in certain schools in my life, and but those was only stuck to books, only to the curriculum. But then Avenues is something which they do beyond books, beyond your curriculum, and I really love this job. So I think it's the passion that has found me. Okay, I found the passion. I'm not sure,
Beautiful. Would you
but I
agree
should say that the passion had found me.
a passion found you? Duffy, I remember an interview you did many years ago where you said the very same thing. I think you said Avenues didn't find you. Sorry, you didn't find Avenues. Avenues found you. And I felt the same way in my life as well. That this was an accidental discovery that led to something beautiful because it was something we turned into a passion, embraced other interests, and then created a very new way of living. Safi, I think you'll agree. Like you said, you've stuck on for 6 years. I want to know the answer to this as well. What do you think keeps this team together? What do you think makes a really great team legendary?
I think it's the bond that we share, sir. We don't say family just by saying it for the sake of saying it, but we actually mean it by saying family. When I saw this, the real life example was when my dad passed away, and the moment I called up one of our colleagues, Kara, to mention, I called her up and said, like, Kara, my dad passed away, and she was like, oh gosh, we're all coming, and that's when I knew, and in split seconds of maybe 15 minutes or so, when they all arrived and I saw them helping out in the family, being there, I was like, okay, now this is what you call family. So I think it's the bond that binds us together, and yes, and I love this family.
Preeti has been smiling quietly in the corner, but it warms my heart to hear you say these words, Safi. I think I know how much we stand by each other. The world may not see it or know it, but thank you. That for me, as as the person leading this team, it's always heartwarming to hear these things, because it isn't just about the person who's leading or the person who's in charge of a project. We're nothing if we're not doing this together. Preeti, uh, I have something very special to ask you. You know, um, you've come into the world of coaching from being in the very formal education framework, and we like to call ourselves, what's the term again? Misfits. I mean, we don't fit in. Our systems are so different. What can you tell us about what works today in education and what can be better, in your opinion? I mean, you've seen it. You're a B.Ed graduate yourself. You've been through the rigors of that process. What do you think works and what do you think doesn't?
So could you repeat the question? I think I missed few words in
You've
between.
come, you've come from a background where you've been formally trained to enter the world of a formal teaching environment. You've had your B.Ed,
Yes,
you've had
sir.
your degree, and you've come from that experience, and then you've embraced this other world of misfits called avenues, where we walk into a room and just completely destroy the notion of a fixed curriculum. Uh, What, do you think that works? I mean, is that education to you? What does education mean to you? That's basically what I'm asking you, is what does an education mean to you, Preeti?
Okay. Thank you, sir, for asking me that question. Well, education to me, um, I'm at this point in my life now where I think I can say education means to be educated and not just literate. Uh, you know, Many people say that if you hold a lot of degrees and then you're being called as an educated person. But well, for me, I think if you hold a lot of degrees, yes, it's great, but you are literate. You are knowledgeable in certain areas of interest. But when you when you know how to apply the knowledge that you have gained into your practicality, and you find happiness in it, you find you're content with it, that's when I think I can say that you are educated. You're not just conventionally following what has been taught to you, but you yourself, when you're able to decide that yes, this works for me, and I will just go for it, I will do my best in it, and then I think I can say that I am educated. That is education for me, to be able to go inside the room and just try to bring out the best in each and every individual that is present inside the room, to be able to make them realize, to be able to help them discover their best self without even opening a single book, without even opening a single book. Just be present with them, just connect with them, get to know what they want from their life, and then to be able to assist and facilitate these children or any individual in the room to help them achieve what they want in their life. That is the education system for me. I think, yes, it's quite different from the formal education setup that I had been introduced to. I have worked in schools as well, but it's totally different in avenues. It's a completely different platform where each individual, be it trainer or a trainee, is allowed to be herself. And most importantly, we are not there to scold anyone inside their room if they have made any mistakes. Because in avenues, we believe if you make mistakes, well, at the end of the class, you're only going out of this room by learning something out of it. And you are allowed to make mistakes, but learn from it and then leave the room. So that is the difference that I can say out of the experiences that I've gathered being here in this beautiful platform called Avenues.
Preeti, I think you speak for all of us when you speak about the value of a real education, applying what you know, bringing that to the table, and then taking that to the world and learning from your failures. So I'm going to turn this into a celebration. This last three points from each of you of failure that turned into triumph. Okay, so I'm going to ask each of you from your personal life or from your professional life to share with our beautiful audience that's listening right now a message from a very personal failure that you've had, something that has taught you some of life's greatest lessons. And for this Women's Day, tell the world how you chose to challenge that and how you overcame it. Safi, I'd like to go with you first.
First, I think I need to think about it. I'm not ready with the answer.
I know I have this way of putting you all completely on the spot. But Safi, I'm sure there is a lesson in there, and you don't need to, I guess, think too hard about it. Just whatever comes to mind. If you wish to have some time, of course, we'll go to our next guest on the list. But Safi, if you have something to share with us right now, I'd be grateful. We'd be grateful.
Oh, okay. So, I remember the day when I first got my first child, not first child, when I got pregnant actually. I remember the day when I got pregnant, and I had to confess it to my parents, like, okay, mom, dad, I'm pregnant. So that was the hardest thing that I had to do in my life. And when I asked them to, to sit with them and speak about it, I told them, mom, dad, there's a good news and a bad news. And they're like, okay, give us the good news first. I said that I'm pregnant. And what's the bad news? I said, I'm pregnant. And that was the first time I saw my parents crying. And then I realized, oh shoot, this is something that I've committed a crime, like almost killing someone. And then my dad was like, I have failed as a dad. I saw the first time that I saw him cry, and like how, and he told me, and he asked me, how are you going to lead your life now? Do you have any plans? Will you continue with your studies? How will you take care of the child? That's when I promised him, my dad, my mom as well, and I promised them both that no matter what, if you are by my side, I can accomplish any problem or any challenges that come my way. I just need your support right now. It's like, okay, how will you? So you're willing to complete your studies? I said, yes, I'll do it. If only you are by my side. So I think that's it. And now that I feel like whatever I promised them, I really did it. I really accomplished it.
I think I can
you
speak.
know what? Yes, sir.
Carry on, Safi.
And I also give my examples to my kids. When I was your age, I got pregnant, and this is what I'm doing right now. I'm looking after you at the same time. I'm working at the same time. This is how I handle work and balance my professional life and my personal life. So you should learn from like with this thug life attitude.
Thug life. Safi, it's amazing how you use humor and you use that very personal touch of that story to such a significant lesson. I think there are a lot of women in our state, a lot of young girls who get pregnant very early on in life and who have to face the challenges of life. And such a beautiful thing to have family to support you through it, to see you through it. And Safi, I want you to know from all of us, I speak on behalf of our team, we are all very proud of you. Mom, dad, your husband, your children, they know how tough you are. I know it. They see you. But what they don't know
It's because
is,
they've been
I hope they're hearing this, because what they don't know is how much you mean to all of us on this team. And most importantly, how much you changed lives in your classrooms. I don't even think you saw this career coming your way, but you've turned it into something that is yours, truly yours. So, for everyone listening in who knows Safi, there's a legend here in this room, and we're very proud of her. Thank you, Safi. Hey, I'm going to give you a round of applause.
Thank you, sir.
All of us. Preeti, your
Sir.
biggest challenge that you've chosen to embrace and the lesson you've learned from that.
Well, at this moment, the only thing I can think of is being a woman is comes with a lot of responsibilities, comes with a lot of challenge, also a lot of expectations from the people around you. And I don't know, there are so many experiences, but right now all I can say is sometimes you will be in that moment of your life where you are in a dilemma, where you are so perplexed with too many things coming your way. How to fulfill certain expectations could be my own personal expectation from myself, could be my stakeholders expectation from me, or it could even be the societal expectation from the woman. But whatever it is, it's Women's Day today, and I only would like to say that it's a day that we celebrate the achievements of each and every woman in this world. So please celebrate your exposure that you get, celebrate your wisdom that you have acquired, celebrate the experiences and the values that you have gathered. And as long as your intention or your intentions are not wrong, then where there is a will, there is a way. So intention is what it is, I think, for women like me or women like you all out there, where you find yourself perplexed in some situations, just remind yourself of the intention that's there. And I think the rest of the answers will be answered, and the rest of your problems will come with a solution. If not instantly, then gradually it will. And keep that faith alive.
Oh, wow. Preeti, give me 5 on the camera. Let's see it. There we go. I love that message for the world, Preeti. Thank you so much for that wisdom. I'm going to end this particular segment with a story from Daffy of a challenge that she's embraced and how she turned that challenge into triumph. Daffy, challenge to triumph. The floor is yours.
So many. I'm so confused. I don't know what to choose, but I guess I think it's one decision that was the toughest, but a decision that's also made all the difference. When I refuse I refused to take up a bank job as a probationary officer. So that decision came with a lot of anger from a lot of sources. Definitely because it was called a foolish decision, a naive decision. It was called um, it was called all sorts. All the disapprovals were there for that decision, but I knew what I wanted. And when I declined the offer for that job was because I was already working with Avenues, and I knew something about this brand and the kind of work that we do connected with my soul. And I've never felt so strongly about anything else but this. So the questions and the fears started surfacing from all corners. What will happen to you? How will you take care of your expenses? How will you uh, take care of your family, especially when mom is about to retire and your sisters are all sorted with their jobs outside in Bangalore, and you're the youngest one? You have to take the responsibilities on your shoulders. At that point in time, I just chose to go with my heart. And I think, like I said, that has made all the difference. And I'm here today. And when I do look back, I am proud of myself. But the most beautiful part is that everyone who told me that I made a stupid decision are prouder of me than I am of myself. Because I realized at that time that when they spoke, it was out of their own fears. And I didn't want to judge them then. And I knew where it was coming from. So instead of anger and fighting them back, I just chose to prove it with my work. And I did. I worked hard. I drove the miles. I stayed up late. I did everything in my capacity, not to prove anybody wrong, but to prove them that, what my heart tells me is right. It eventually will surface, it will show, it will be projected. So I chose that. I chose to fight for my dream. And I'm here.
I think you'll get us all a little teary-eyed, Duffy. That's very heartfelt. You chose to fight for your dreams. I think
chose
it's very rare to find people who do that. I think everyone on this team has literally chosen to fight for staying on, for being part of this team. And I really hope, even on a personal level as a leader, that I never let you guys down, and that we always are able to do what we love doing. Which is why we're doing this session today. I think we learned so much from the women who lead this team, and all I wanted to do was to offer the world a glimpse into these wonderful women's lives, and to have you all see what makes our little team so special. Thank you for your wisdom, ladies. Thank you for the lessons tonight. I do have a very special closing for the evening. It's 3 very special women who are joining after this. But I think what we've gathered from your discussions with us today have been, in all respects, whether it's education or it's a pregnancy that you turned into superstar motherhood, or it's a government job that you said no to, at the end of the day, you all listened to your hearts and you went with what you knew you wanted in your life. It is very clear. And I will take that with me from this conversation, and I hope the audience does too. So on that note, happy Women's Day. Lots of love to you guys, to you ladies.
Thank you. Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
joining.
having us, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, so that was the end of part 2 of our evening celebrating the women on our team at Avenues. And I think from learning how wisdom can emerge in a time of crisis, to learning how to cope with the challenges of motherhood and work and balancing those equations in life, to understanding what it takes to commit with all your heart to a calling, has led us to a point where I now have 3 very special ladies who are very, very close to all of our hearts at Avenues. And they're in fact the ladies who are producing the show right now. And they're going to have to take a break from production and come on to be a part of this program. Such superstars, you guys are multitaskers. I really want to bring on my first guest for the evening is going to be, of this section, we'll call this section 3, is Amy Lalu. Amy, if you are there, please join us. We'd love to have you on. Hi, Amy. I know you're struggling with connectivity today. They're using the right, and okay. Amy, we'll come back to you. We'll keep you on screen. I hope your connection gets better. In the meantime, my next lady in the house is just a gem of a human being, somebody who recently joined our team and who has an incredible story to tell as well. Someone who does the messaging and the writing and the lessons that are turned into literally an art form in the written word. Karen Marwain is on screen now next. Hi, Amy. We're waiting for the clip to roll for Karen, and then we bring her on. Karen, if you're there. Okay, we might be having a technical problem here, but I'm sure we'll survive. Amy, nice to see you. I hope you can hear us loud and clear.
Hi, sir. Yes, I can hear you. Loud.
And there is Karen. Hi, Karen.
Hi, sir.
Good to see you. Final guest for the evening, the producer for the live show and our lead for media. What a lady she is. Iba Sara Tharkumar. Iba, if you're there, you're going to have to multitask and bring yourself on screen now. Let's see if she's around.
Hi, sir.
There she is. Hi, Iba.
Hi, sir.
First of all, thank you for producing and hosting and what I hope has been a very inspiring evening for everyone who tuned in. I don't. Are we okay?
I don't know where the sound is coming from, sir.
That's okay. It happens when you multitask. I don't know how you do it, Eva. This is just phenomenal stuff. Thanks for joining us, despite the circumstances and the hurdles, obviously, technically. But I want to go into this last. I think we have a clip playing in the background on one of the tabs on your browser. You can just take a look.
No, sir. There's nothing opened.
I think it might be Amy's. Oh, yes, because of the delay on her mic, since her connectivity is bad.
I'll just mute.
I think that would help us. Yes, possibly. And if for any reason we can't get through to Amy, then we'll have to maybe meet her on another day. So we'll stick to the two of these, the two ladies to my left and my right. I don't know what's left and right on the camera, but Karen, welcome to an evening that celebrates the women of Avenues, and I think this is a beautiful way to end our show with the ladies behind the scenes of the stories that we tell the world about our journey on the road. Karen, I just want to go straight across to you and ask you, for everything that you've gone through in your life, I mean, you've had an incredible journey. I'd love for the world to hear a little snippet, maybe like a very quick condensed timeline of your journey so far. Over to you.
Uh, I'll try to make it quick, sir. Because it's really been quite a journey. I'm sure I have not told you the whole story as well. And so I guess I have been a very quiet, reserved girl, who sits in the corner of the class and who probably knows a lot of the answers when asked in class, but would never, like to raise her hand. Or and I have been someone who has been, how should I say this? Who has had voices in my heart and in my mind telling me that I'm built for good stuff and great stuff, but there has also been voices telling me that I'm not good enough, I'm not capable enough, or that I will never compare to those who have come before me or who will come after me. And I think one of the biggest lessons that I've learned is when through the journey I've chosen to listen to the voices that told me that I am built for the good stuff, the great stuff, and I am capable of being someone who can inspire others. I've chosen to quieten down the voices telling me that I cannot do things that I want to do. And when I say voices in my mind and in my heart, sometimes that voice has been mine, telling myself that you're just building castles in the air. You're just it's just a fantasy world that you're building. But then through the course of the years that I've grown as a it's been a crazy journey. I mean, there were times when a lot of people have written me off, when I myself has written me off. I have written myself off as well. But there were times in my life when I knew that this is not it for me. I chose to believe that. There were times that I felt I would just go to bed at night and just cry under the covers. This is it. I gave up. I'm not made for anything more, and this is it. This is over for me. This is the end. That was during my college days, and but every morning there I am, awake and full of energy, and it's a brand new day, and I'm going to take on the world. But that has been done very quietly in the background. I've never been the kind of person to be very vocal and very to share things with to a lot of people. I'm very fortunate to have people who have believed in me. I remember that there have been teachers who have believed in me. There have been people in my family who have believed in me and who still do. And I think it's because of them, their prayers and their wishes for me, and my and somehow my my belief that I could do this. And I went. It was a very difficult decision for me and my family as well when I decided to move out of the city of Shillong that I love so much, that I'm so attached, with only a 12th standard qualification in education. And I went to Bangalore, to the metros on my own, to decide to explore my opportunities. And that was when writing found me. The ladies before me earlier had talked about how their passion had found them. I think the same thing happened to me. Writing found me when I went to Bangalore, and here I am doing it, and I'm still learning and still growing. So.
Thanks. Thanks so much, Karen. You speak about having to deal with the challenges of, I think, being an introvert, being somebody very quiet, and then finding so much power in the written word. And we read it every day. I remember reading one of your essays and being so inspired by what you'd written, and that literally made the decision for us to go ahead and immediately consider you joining our team. And we haven't looked back since. It feels like we've known you a lifetime. Karen, for all the value you add, for everything that you do for our team, we're always grateful. Iba, who is my partner in crime here, especially with the media division, will have a lot to say about that, I'm sure. But for now, Iba, I want to take some time to celebrate you and all you've achieved with Avenues in the years that you've been with us, and the fact that we never had the idea that we could actually build a full-on media team that would take care of storytelling and of shooting documentaries and talking about our journey on the road. What has it been for you to embrace something so new and so challenging? Because it was not a skill set you had, but how did you embrace it and how did you own it like you have? I mean, I want to know this from you too.
It was a new thing when I started at Avenues with the marketing and branding. But sir, with something new, with something that I can learn, I've always loved learning. I've always loved, I would call myself the kind of person who likes to, learn a lot of things. I might not be good at everything, but I love learning. So that's been awesome at Avenues. You've always pushed me to learn new things. I've learned Premiere Pro, I've learned Photoshop, and all of those applications that I never thought I would be able to learn. It's been an awesome journey, and I have this awesome team that has always helped me. I'm not just talking about the media team, I'm talking about the whole Avenues team. I have these awesome colleagues that I can go to and ask for ideas, and you've always been one of those people who tell me what to do, give me ideas, especially with my video editing skills, my branding and marketing. I've learned so many things on the job. I've been so blessed, so grateful that I'm able to remember whatever I've learned, forget some stuff too, but I'm glad that I have these skills to be able to give to Avenues.
You've been the epitome of learning on the go. I mean, anything that we've thrown at you, given the fact that you don't have the skills at that time, you've turned into a strength, and that's something to say about anybody. And I wanted to ask you, Iba, for any young working woman out there, or any working woman who's young at heart, just anybody who wants to grow, what would be your 3 values that you think a woman or anybody who's getting into life needs to carry with them into the workplace?
So I won't
Iba,
say women.
if I may, before you start, could you put yourself on the screen, please?
Okay. Okay.
The challenges of production and participation. There we go.
Yeah. So I have these 3 points, but not just for the women folk. This is for everyone because it is from my own personal experience. I'm hoping that this helps you guys. So the one thing that I've found about being productive and being successful in your workplace is finding what you love in what you do. So a lot of times we don't usually get to align our work with our studies, with what we've studied for. No matter whatever you do, whatever your work is, always try to align that work with what you love. It'll make it easier for you to grow. You will want to learn more. You will want to be the best at what you're doing because you're aligning that with what you love. I'm hoping I'm making sense.
the second one would be uh, who always remember who you're doing, what you're doing for. I am working since I started work. I've always had my family to look after. So now I have my son, I have my husband to look after, and who's also looking after me. So yeah, work, me wanting to be successful, me wanting to be responsible, to be held accountable for my work is also because and for my family. So, and the third one is just like in my number 2 point, I said accountability. Number 3 is, I will use that word as a separate point, accountability. Whatever you have, whatever you get, whatever you do in life, just be accountable. I believe that no matter what you do, no matter what the work you get, even if you don't have the skills for it, be accountable, learn, give it your all. I believe that, wanting to learn and opening yourself up and being accountable, not because people can see that you're responsible for what you're doing, that you're doing this right, but because you know that it is your responsibility and it is in your hands to do it the best you can. I'm hoping that works. So yeah, those are my 3 points. You're muted, sir.
I think you could make out what I said. Gold. It was very special, Iba. That's you should keep that in mind for a Monday motivation clip. I think we should just edit that little video of yours out. What do you say, Karen? And use that for our next Motivation Monday episode.
Absolutely, sir. It is gold. That was gold, Eva.
Thank you. Even
Karen?
though I had a lot of
And I think, sir, I think I have to say this for Eva. She walks the talk. I mean, when she was speaking about accountability, especially, she leads us by example. When she gives her 110% every day, every time, even sometimes when she's not on call. I mean, when she's on off, Eva, I'm so sorry.
You're the same, Karen. You're the same. Sir's the same. So we can't just talk about one person here. We're all the same. So.
I mean, she's inspired me to also bring my 110%.
Both of you have inspired me too. So we inspire each other.
Yeah.
This is a reminder of why we call our WhatsApp work group the MAC. You know why we call it the MAC, right? Mutual
Yes.
Oh gosh, the beautiful mother in the house. Amy is here, but I think her network's down.
Yeah.
Amy has had this very resilient network challenge. Very resilient. It's very hard to get over it. Amy, I hope you can connect with us at some point. But if you don't, I have a very special request. Iba, after all of that beautiful wisdom from the world of work, I want to find something that's a safe space for you. Karen, what's your safe space? What do you go home to, or what do you come to when you're down, when you feel like you have nowhere else to turn to? What's that space for you?
There are 3 things actually. So earlier, it has always been my writing. I think from when I was a very small, child, I loved to write. I was too scared to speak or too nervous to speak. I would write letters to everyone, including my mom. I used to hide letters under her pillow. So writing had always been my safe space, and I think it will always be. Second is music. I love to just sit alone and just sing and just let my vocals out, And very recently, 2.5 years ago, my son has become my safe space. He just lights up my life,
Writing, music, and your son. So writing, music, and your son. Della has joined us again. She has her daughter with her right now. That's the corner. Is it there? It's right there. There's Della. Della, would you like to introduce your little girl to the world? You'll have to unmute your mic, Del.
What's your name, sweetheart?
Demi.
Say my name.
My name is Demi.
So this is Demi, my
Hi,
4-year-old.
Demi. Hi, Demi. Della, are you joining us for some music? I hear that's
Yes,
something that Karen tells you as well.
I'm going to let her sing. Am I allowed to do
Oh,
that?
this absolutely.
Okay,
Hey,
and
Women's Day.
let's see whether she can sing or not. Shall we sing? Okay. This is a song that she learns in her Sunday school, but since there's no Sunday school anymore, so we've been continuing it at home. So what I do is I play these songs for her, and she sings with me along. So let's see if she still remembers. Okay, come here, Kun. Okay. Can you sing? Come here. Okay. 1, 2, 3.
Jesu ulang kena sisin Uglay dan kamusi gentin Shisha, shisha, bagi pulang kenyataan akhir ublay kaong kompas
Thank you.
Yay! Oh my gosh, that was precious. Demi, you're a rock star.
Say thank you, Kun.
Thank you, Demi. That was beautiful.
Say bye and good night also.
Bye, good night.
So I have to
Bye.
Good
talk
night,
to them.
Della. Good night,
Bye,
Della.
good night.
Bye, Del.
Bye,
Say hi
good
to
night.
Assam, to
Bye,
Mom.
Del. Bye, Demi.
Will do. Bye.
Happy Women's Day. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
A star is born.
Definitely.
Oh gosh, Karen, I'm sorry. I mean, Demi is always going to have the up on you on this.
Mm.
But
Of course, of course. Not at all, sir.
just to close the night, I have a very special request. I hope you'll humor us. But would you be able to sing us something special? We know, though anybody who's tuning in right now may not know this, but one of the most gifted singers we've ever heard is in the room right now, Karen Marvin. And Karen, if you don't sing us a song for Women's Day, it would be an injustice to the world. Right,
I'm gonna
Eva?
sing.
Yes.
Okay, so before we get there, I want us to end. If I have your permission, Eva, we shall quickly switch to a screen where we speak about just one thing for each of you before we move to our final performance by Karen. And I want to call it our choose to challenge closing. Okay. I'd love to hear what you'd like to choose to challenge this year in your lives. For our listeners, for the audience, if you're tuning in right now, this has been a Women's Day celebration for 2021, celebrating our team, the wonderful women, the beautiful women who lead us and who nurture us and on our journey with us. And the theme for the year is choose to challenge. It's right there on the ticker at the bottom. If you choose to challenge something this year, if you choose to own a hurdle, embrace it and get over it and kick its butt and say to yourself, you're going to move ahead with life, do post that with the hashtag choose to challenge. Put it up there. The world deserves to hear your story. Iba, what's yours? What are you choosing to challenge this year?
I overthink a lot, and usually my overthinking leads me to really negative mindset, a really negative mindset. So that is my challenge to myself. Stop overthinking. Take it as it is. Just trust him up above and just live your life.
Thank you, Iba. That's such a poignant message. Really grateful. Trust him. All in faith. Karen, what are you choosing to embrace this year?
I think I've always had that need to be in control, over everything in my life, and things keep happening in my life, reminding me that things will not always be in my control. I have to remind myself, as Iba said, to trust him. There's always a higher power, working behind the scenes, even when it feels like everything is not okay. But everything will be okay. We will be okay. Our families will be okay. Our children will be okay. And our dreams will be okay, because there's a higher power working behind the scenes for us, for our dreams, for our future. We just have to believe that and do our best, not to just be lethargic while we wait for that to happen, but we have to give our best. And I think that need to be in control, that is one thing that I choose to challenge this year, to learn to share my problems with a lot of people. A lot of people have been complaining about me in that regard. I learned to want to take care of everything, solve the problems by myself. That is my biggest challenge this year, and I promise to meet that challenge.
Reminds me of what Pompey was saying to us in the first episode, which was just to let go, let go and let it flow. So on that note, Karen, Iba, thank you for your time this evening. Most of all, Iba, I know I say this for a lot of the women on our team, but we really do lead by example. And I have never worked, second to none in terms of professionalism and getting the job done. You just get it done, no matter what. And I have learned so much from you. So on this Women's Day, thank you for producing the show. Thank you for choosing to stay on. And thank you for your love and devotion to all that we are as a team. Thank you, Iba. That's my salute to you for Women's Day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
For everybody who's watching this right now, please a round of applause for our producer. Iba, thank you very much. On that note, like they say on a Shakespeare stage, you may exit left or exit left.
Okay.
Thanks, Iba.
Bye, guys.
Bye, Iba. Karen, I
Yes,
think we close on you for the evening. I hope that
Yes, sir.
that's all right with you.
It's an honor. It's an honor, sir. And before I sing the song, actually, I just wanted to, I don't know, I just had this in my heart to share with everyone tonight, that I know it's Women's Day, and it's like you were saying, it's all about us celebrating womanhood. And I take this opportunity to also thank the men in my life. Thank you for being such stellar, support and pillars of support. And so I have two special messages today to the men in my life who has supported me: my husband, my brothers, the uncles in the family. Having grown without a father figure in my life, it's just been really, really overwhelming, the love and the support. Thank you for seeing us and for hearing, giving us a chance to speak on our own. And to the men who are still learning, to listen to the ladies, this one is for you. We are not here to steal the glory or whatever. We're here saying that we are by your side. We are your partners in crime and love, whatever. Let's do this together. Let's do life together. Let's do love together. And the song is, it's very, I'm sure some of you must have heard it recently, but it's a song that the message of the song, the lyrics of the song, it's not just theology to me. It's a message that's very dear and very close to my heart. And I hope this will bless each one of you as it has blessed me. So here it goes.
Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen.
In the darkness, we were waiting without hope, without light, till from heaven you came running. There was mercy in your eyes to fulfill the law and prophets. To a virgin came the word, from a throne of endless glory to a cradle in the dirt. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. To reveal the kingdom coming and to reconcile the lost, to redeem the whole creation. You did not despise the cross, for even in your suffering you saw to the other side, knowing this was our salvation. Jesus, for our sake you died. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, three in one. God of glory, majesty, praise forever to the King of Kings. In the morning that you rose, all of heaven held its breath, till that stone was moved for good, for the Lamb had conquered death. And the dead rose from their tombs, and the angels stood in awe, for the souls of all who'd come to the Father are restored, and the Church of Christ was born. Then the Spirit lit the flame. Now this gospel truth of old shall not kneel, shall not fade. By His blood and in His name, it is freedom I am free, for the love of Jesus Christ, who has resurrected me. Praise the Father, praise the Son, praise the Spirit, in one. God of glory, majesty, gaze forever to the King of Kings. Praise forever to the King of Kings.
Thank you, Karen. What a great opening to our show.
Thank you, sir.
It's one of
Thank
those
you.
things, where you see someone literally going into the flow state. You just in that.
It's been an honor, sir. It's been an honor. Seriously.
Karen,
And this is my first time. This is my first time on camera like this, and I'm very nervous. But
I think you have
thank you so much.
absolutely nothing to be afraid of. That's been just amazing. Thank you, Karen,
Thank you so
for
much.
all that you are to us. Happy
Thank you,
Women's Day
sir.
to you. Give your little guy and your big guy a big hug from all of us. That was Karen Marwain closing what has been, at least to me, a very, very special celebration of a few of the women on our team. There are so many who have to be named who are not part of this program today because of time. But Kara Marwain, Eva Dahunshi Sharon Tatyang, Agatha Bla, Tulsi, and everybody who I have failed to name as well, who should have been a part of this program but haven't been because of time, because of other things. We celebrate you today and every day. We don't need a Women's Day to know that you are special. And we don't need a Women's Day to validate why we should even have a Women's Day. So, for the year ahead, I want to start by saying to all the women who lead us, and all the mothers who nurture us, and all the sisters who protect us, and all the wives who make us complete, all our daughters for whom we choose to be better men and women, and for all the nieces, aunts, cousins who look up to us, for all of that and more, let us choose to challenge the idea that there even needs to be a day to celebrate women. Happy Women's Day, everyone. It's been a very special evening. I want to close with my own note of gratitude to the very first woman who showed me what it meant to be a good human being. My mom. Mama, if you're listening, happy Mother's Day to you. One of the strongest women, you are the strongest woman I know. And a testament to you is your children, is all of us, and I hope we make you very proud. To my wife, who I hope is tuning in or who will listen to this at some point as well, thank you for making my life complete, for being such a beautiful mother to our children, and for being the pillar behind everything that runs on the team, the quiet source of support, and my rudder. Thank you. To every woman on our team, you made a choice that has made us who we are. And for that, I will always be grateful to you. To my sister who was with us on the first panel, Jasmine, you are the warmest, kindest, most caring human being I know, period. I know if anybody were to run to anyone's rescue, it would be you first. And that's probably why we all love you so much. And to every other lady, friend, woman, teacher who has touched life, every day is your day. We do not need a Women's Day to celebrate it. But because today happens to be Women's Day, I'm going to end the day by saying we are the choices we make. We are the promises we keep. But we're also the women who have seen us through life. Their stories live on through us, and our journey is made richer because of them. Happy Women's Day, everyone. This has been a very special evening with the Women of Avenues. We're signing out of episode 11 of Keeping It Real with Mark. I hope you've enjoyed the program. I hope you've learned from the women on our team. And I hope you'll come visit us again for the next episode. It's been a solid 2.5 hours. And I think it's time to go and put my own kids to bed now. So on that note, happy Women's Day, everyone, once again. Choose to challenge the status quo. That's it. Signing out.